Position, 10 seconds.
We're really seeing season 5 as a review and furthering of Oliver Queen's legacy.
One of the things that he goes through by even allowing any of these people to come into the bunker is that he is learning to trust other people.
There are many, many more stories to be told about being a hero.
Ladies and gentlemen, Laurel Lance, the Black Canary.
One of the reasons why we killed Laurel Lance at the end of season 4 was we wanted to be able to tell stories about the ramifications of that death.
When Laurel died, she said, you know, don't let me be the last Black Canary, but also like don't fight this fight alone. You can bring people into it who care about it just as much as you.
He knows down deep he can't do it alone. He's not willing to admit that right away.
It's just not possible for one man to cover all the ground that he needs to. He's thinking about passing that mantle. The theme for the season is legacy.
And having this whole new team is part of that. You know, he's essentially recruiting the new generation of superheroes for Star City. And we're hoping by the end of this season that we can really say that this is a part of his legacy, is having these new recruits.
Wild Dog, such a great addition because he has such a unique voice.
Robin Hood needs his band of merry men, right?
We really started from the premise of what would provide the biggest challenge for Oliver. Who could we bring in that would be most outside the box?
Pretty boy Queen here thinks he's actually saving the city.
He is the id version of the Green Arrow and doesn't take orders well, incredibly stubborn, incredibly unpredictable. So for that reason, probably our favorite character to write.
He grew up in the Glades. He knows the streets of the Glades very well. He knows the city very well, and he cares about the city. But his methods are not at all like Oliver's methods.
Son of a bitch.
He comes to the team sort of already his own guy in a way that, that nobody else has. He can challenge Oliver in ways that nobody has before.
Look, analysis and forensics is cool and all, but that stuff takes time. I know the neighborhood where this deal is slinging out of.
There's a definite kind of mirror element happening. We talk about it in the room a lot, that Wild Dog basically does exactly what Oliver would have done 4 years ago, and Oliver does not like that.
Renee, we don't deal in maybes and guesswork.
Or maybe rich boy Mayor Queen doesn't know the streets so good.
We always hate those traits that we, in other people that are most reflective of who we are, and that's very true of Oliver and Renee.
So you saying the city isn't better off with one less deal on the streets? Have you told the mayor that? You have no ability to think big picture.
And I think that that provides a very specific challenge for him, and we have found ourselves in a lot of ways writing to that because it is very rich, it's very dynamic, and Oliver has a very strong reaction to this guy, and should. He's very much like who he was.
One of the really cool things we're going to do is we're going to do flashbacks to his sort of origin story. And it's, you know, quite the sad story in the tradition of Arrow. All our stories are sort of very sad at their core, but also sort of shows what, you know, he's trying to do better by being part of the team, by being part of Team Arrow.
Maybe you're wearing that mask for a reason. But right now, I need you to ask yourself, what would the Black Canary want you to do?
Her parents were actually killed by Damien Dark, so Evelyn has a very, very potent motivation to join up with Oliver.
And she's sort of so young that she still sort of has this idealism that's almost blinding.
Wait, I thought there was gonna be, I don't know, like an orientation?
Is that what the brochure promised?
That's hilarious.
On the line!
In the beginning, when Oliver's giving them a hard time in the training, she's a little bit on Wild Dog's side of like, what is going on here?
Here to learn something, man, not just get beat up.
I told you, I'm teaching you.
Teaching us what exactly? Because actually, I find myself agreeing with the scary, weird guy.
I was watching an episode of Young Justice with my son, actually, and we were watching this episode about Artemis. And in the Young Justice version, Sportsmaster is her father, but she doesn't know it, and he's the uber bad guy for the season. And her mom is the Huntress, who is good and ultimately on the right side. And Artemis is really torn between kind of the light and the dark and not knowing which direction to go in. And it seemed that that would be a good starting place for Evelyn.
She has a very unique position in the sense that she is the youngest member of the team, and that she's a teenager. So she has different needs than a regular or sort of grown person does, where she doesn't have parents, she really doesn't have a place to go. So she is sort of our very teen angsty, petulant child.
You know, I've been meaning to ask, what kind of a vigilante wears a hockey mask?
I think it's cool.
I think, you know, her youth and experience, but also her angst is one of the fun things we do in the show with her.
New mask looks cool, by the way. Oh, thank you. Actually still feels a little weird on my face.
Curtis has been such a joy just as a writer because he's so dry and so witty and so funny that, you know, he's just a blast. You know, I jokingly call him my muse because he says all the things I think but don't have the sort of I have the censorship not to say out loud.
Suit up! Oh, I thought we all were gonna, like, it was gonna be a nice moment where we all said at the same time. Is that just your thing? That's you only? Okay, yeah. That's you.
But I think, you know, he's unique in the sense that, like, he should be a superhero, but he just doesn't have the ability to do it.
He's a guy who's an Olympian and should be able to stand his own, and he gets beaten up by some thugs in the first episode in our season premiere.
You got it. What do you want?
Oh my God, what happened?
And I will tell you everything on one condition. You recruit me too.
We've never seen actually someone who just decides they want to become a superhero and gosh darn it is going to do it.
So, Curtis.
He's very intrigued by this idea of gaining power and learning how to fight and learning how to fend for himself, and also bringing justice to people who don't have that ability and don't have that voice.
Now let me concentrate.
Unlike, you know, the other recruits, he's married. You know, when he comes home late at night with cuts and bruises from fighting a bad guy, what does he tell his spouse?
Come on, man, where did you get that jacket?
Wait, you don't know Fair Play Terry Sloan?
We're trying to take him from, you know, his roots and build him into Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific? The greatest wrestler in the history of wrestling?
That guy had floating spheres. He blended technology and physicality, and that's where Curtis is going.
All right, see you Saturday.
Ragman actually came about because Jeff Johns called me up at the end of last year and suggested, you know, it'd be awesome to have Ragman on the show. Just the nature of that character who's so dark, you know, and mysterious and creepy. I mean, there's a reason why Ragman premiered in the Batman comics.
We meet him first as a villain until they find out his backstory.
Geralt, you have been judged and found wanting. I am the very last living soul of Haven Rock.
Oliver bonds with Ragman.
Ragman!
So he basically turns Ragman from going dark.
The way that Greg Berlanti has opened up the trade space for us to work in is really cool. We can do anything that we want to from a storytelling point of view.
Why'd you give up your vengeance to save my life?
I think it's what my father would have wanted me to do.
So now we have a guy on our show who is mystical, who has mystical rags, and he's steeped in the Kabbalah and Torah and this mysticism that is just, it's great. It's a place that we haven't been before.
I can't do it alone. I need a team. Together.
He's sort of the Yoda, in a way, for the show this year, and has a lot of wisdom and experience despite his youth.
To become a vigilante that's a pretty high bar. Why do you do that? Why do you decide that you can be justice in a mask and hide yourself from people?
Okay, everyone, just breathe normally.
They all come with new backstories, and with those backstories come the potential for, you know, new present-day stories.
He is learning to trust other people with the knowledge of his identity and the knowledge of everything that he's done in the past, which is not insignificant. It's been really fun, and it's a great challenge for us as writers, but also for Oliver.